I have a 6-hour foot spa appointment tonight, so I don't have much time to rant. But I needed to tell you about the latest way they ruined Pokemon TCG Live. Let's start in happier times though, aka last Thursday. In the patch notes for yesterday's update, the Pokemon Company said that we'd not only be getting a card dex, but packs would also now reward 10 cards instead of the previous 5 or 6. In my video previewing the patch, I was super excited for these changes and even wondered if we'd finally get super crazy filters in the card decks like being able to sort by retreat cost and attack cost. Well, despite PTCGO and the Card Decks app both featuring those options, the Card Decks in PTCGL doesn't. Don't get me wrong, I like the Card Decks in Live. Being able to swap between main set and master set view is great because it shows you which cards you're missing. And if there's a card you don't own yet, you can craft it directly from the card decks. It's still better to import a deck list and craft the cards that way, but if you're into filling holes as much as me, it's an improvement. Also, while you don't actually get anything, if you finish a set, you can click complete and a tiny little animation plays. So again, it's nice, I just don't know why 3.5 years later we still don't have basic filter options. Take Ivana Humpalot Onyx for example. Let's say you're a new player, you pull the card and want to build a deck around it. You go to the filters and can't find any way to highlight cards with a 4 retreat cost. Instead, you can filter between weakness and resistance, which is something I don't think anyone's ever found useful. When that happens to a new player, you're going to think this game is kind of embarrassing, get disappointed, and move on to something else. Now that I've poked holes in that new feature, let's talk about the improvement to packs. As mentioned, packs from Sword and Shield previously included 5 cards, with Scarlet and Violet upping that to 6 cards. The Pokemon Company has yet to update the Drop Rights website for TCG Live so we can see exactly what it was before. For Destined Rivals specifically, you would get 6 cards. The first was a common, the second was a common or uncommon, and the third was an uncommon, with each having a chance to be upgraded to a hyper rare. Slot 4 would be a reverse holo, slot 5 could be a reverse holo illustration rare or hyper rare, and slot 6 was a rare, double rare, or ultra rare. Basically, every pack in Live mimicked a real life pack, except some commons and uncommons were removed. But they made up for that fact by giving you a chance of hyper rares early. Now that we have 10 card packs, what's changed? Well, in true TCG Live fashion, they took a seemingly good thing and punched it in the Pokeballs. With the new 10 card packs, only the first slot has a chance to be upgraded. Slots 2 through 7 will just either be commons or uncommons with no chance at an upgrade. Thankfully, the final 3 slots remain the same. Basically, by going from 6 card packs to 10 card packs, all they did was add a couple commons and a couple uncommons. Okay, sure, that sucks, but it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Why is the handsomest Prestige 2 PTCGL player complaining about Live for the 31st time in 3.5 years? Because it gets worse. Just watch me open this pack and tell me if you notice anything different. No, not the fact that they changed the background color for whatever reason. Look at how many trade credits I'm getting for the cards. If you're a degenerate like me who's opened hundreds, maybe thousands of packs, you'll immediately notice that the number of credits you receive is nerfed. But by how much exactly? Up to 50%. When pulling your 5th copy of a common, you'll receive just 5 credits now. Uncommons are now 10, with rares at 50 and Pokemon EX at 150. It gets slightly better the higher the rarity, as cards that used to give 600 are now down to just 450, while cards that used to give 1000 are now 800. But that's still a drop of at least 20% for every rarity and up to 50% for commons and uncommons. Now go back and read the post about 10 card boosters from their letter and the patch notes. Where does it say they're nerfing trade credits? Exactly, nowhere. In fact, they have the audacity to say we can build our collection faster than ever with this change. Well, I did the math, which should worry you. Obviously, there's several variables given the luck-based nature of packs, and I averaged slot 2 to 15 because it could be either to simplify things. But if you were to open a normal 10 card pack of just commons, uncommons, and rares with no hits, you're actually getting less possible credits than 6 card boosters. Again, this is all based on lowest rarity, but the math adds up. Despite adding 4 cards to packs, the credit nerf sees you earning much less than before, which in turn hurts credit farming even more. But Pilot, I hear you say, obviously the Pokemon Company cares about us and would now make this change without discounting crafting prices. Well, my moisturized subscriber, I've played this game since day 1 and I know how much they hate us. Yep, crafting costs are exactly the same. So just like when they introduced shop limits and raised the price of the Charizard deck last year, they decided not to tell us of the negative changes they were making to the economy. Instead, I'm left to find out all the changes for you, learning too late to do any planning ahead of time. Oh, and let's not forget that you still have to wait 6 months to craft overnumbered cards. This means the majority of Black Bolt and White Flare will have to be pulled from packs or given away by the Pokemon Company if you want to use those higher rarities on Live before 2026. It's not all bad news. By logging into Live before August 14th, you'll get 2,000 trade credits and 2,000 trainer points. And you'll get that again by logging in between August 14th and 28th, plus a Jealous NTX deck to celebrate Worlds. And I don't know if this is a glitch, but the first 2 daily quests are now rewarding double the trainer points and boosted Battle Pass XP, offsetting the credit nerf a little. But probably the best addition with yesterday's patch are the new animations added to battles. Instead of an economy that rewards players, dragons that fart confetti when they attack is much more important. That's definitely what we want the devs spending their time on. Not adding expanded sets or expanded friend battles. Oh, and when you attach a special energy to a Pokemon, a cool animation plays now. That's obviously more important than fixing the game-breaking glitches that have appeared for years. I've said this a lot recently, but for a game with 0 microtransactions that makes no money, they sure enjoy punishing their players. What makes all this news hilarious is that the Pokemon Company made a point to reach out to several content creators in the space to make them ambassadors last month. Unfortunately, despite putting the ass in ambassador, I was not invited. I've been making videos about how to improve Live for years, and they seem to take that feedback and do the opposite. Or when it came to removing coins, it takes them nearly 3 years to implement it. But getting more community feedback appeared to be a good thing. So of course their first act after announcing these ambassadors is nerfing credit farming without telling anybody ahead of time. Really inspires confidence. The worst part about this change is that all the videos I've done regarding credit farming over the past year are now invalid. Like me with my Gardevoir doll, you're all intimately familiar with this image. It shows you the best things to buy in the PDC GL shop for the purposes of credit farming, so you can spend your trainer points smartly to earn the most rewards and craft the best cards quickly. Unfortunately, as much as I want to show you updated totals for everything, I can't, because shop limits exist and I already maxed out most of these for previous videos. Regardless, I bought 5 6-pack bundles of celebrations to see what the damage is. Including the 350 credits you get from that bundle, I averaged 3,730 credits from 6 packs. My pulls were quite lucky, but it doesn't change the fact that Celebrations earns you at least 100 less credits per pack now. For lead battle decks, it's much worse. Since Celebrations is only rares or higher, and the higher the rarity, the lower the percent they shaved off, it's not as impacted. But those lead battle decks have lots of commons and uncommons. I only tested Ice Rider and Dragapult, and it's ugly, with Ice Rider dropping a whopping 1,500 credits, yet the price of 1,250 trainer points is the exact same. I'm sure they'll make another horrible change to Live in the next few months, hurting the economy even further and forcing me to make another video. But as of right now, it seems like opening Celebrations packs is now the best way to credit farm in Pokemon TCG Live. Yes, it takes a lot longer and you have to delay gratification for 2 to 3 months, but the numbers don't lie. Unless I did the math wrong. Still, the drop-off isn't nearly as significant for Celebrations once you own most of the cards. And there aren't shop limits on Celebrations packs, so you can buy more than 4 bundles, whereas you're capped on lead battle decks. I don't know, guys, I'm just tired. I should be getting excited for Black Bolt and White Flare tomorrow, not ranting about the latest negative change to Live. Every time I put hours into researching things for this game to help new players, the dev seems to make it their mission to invalidate all that work. To quickly sum up this latest rant video, credit farming is somehow worse than ever, and despite having a dedicated Twitter account, they didn't bother warning us ahead of time.